Hey there, we are so happy to be here at the Perfectly Imperfect Parenting Conference. I think that would describe us well. Perfectly imperfect, yes.
And most families.
There are no perfect parents out there, so I love that. And so yeah, we're happy to be here with you, and I thought we'd just start out by telling you who we are.
I'm Bella, and I'm 18 and in college.
And you're my daughter.
And I'm her daughter.
I'm Corey, and I have 6 children. An awesome husband, Willie. We have 2 grandbabies, and I'm her mom.
And I am Chris Howard. I'm married to Johnny, otherwise known as Two Papa, and I'm known as Two Mama. We have 14 grandkids and 3 great grandkids, and I am Corey's mom, and this is my mom.
And I'm Jo, and I'm a mom of 6, grandmother of 12, greats, and that number about 25. I have 2 great-great-grandchildren. So we have 5 generations in our family, which is fabulous.
Yes, it is.
It is. Now that Corey is a grandma, that gave us
my
5.
grandmother name so far, although no grandbaby has called me this yet, is K-Mama. That's what I'm going with. We'll see if it sticks. Zane is kind of getting something like Mama.
Yeah.
So it's close. So I'm K-Mama. And now I'm saying it like Zane, K-Mama. And I'm K-Mama. And Willie is Dubs. And we'll see if those 2 things stick.
if that
We'll
works.
let you know in the next year or 2. Yeah. As they start talking. So yeah, we're happy to be here.
Yeah, today we want to talk a little bit about legacy. As you can see, we are 5 generations in, so we have a strong legacy, and we wanted to talk about some of those things that we want to hand down to what I wanted to hand down to my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, mom the same, and then some of the things maybe that we just value that we think are important that we want to make sure get handed down from one generation to the next. A couple of years ago, we all got to go to Israel. We did that for Christmas, and it was such a great experience. It was so fun. And one of the things I remember, we were in Jerusalem where we could see the cities down below? Do you remember that? You could look in this amazing hole and look down and literally see generations that have built on top of each other. And it was such a great visual image of what we're doing, not physically, but what we're doing with our lives, that we're leaving from one generation to the next, almost an entire structure to build their houses on. And as someone told me one time, our ceiling will be their floor. And that's such an amazing concept, that the things that my mom and dad left for us were our starting place, because they left so many great things that we were able to build on. And hopefully that's what I've done for my children, and now Corey and Willie are doing for theirs. And then Bella's generation already making such an impact on the next generation. So we just thought we'd share with you today some of those things that we value, that we wanted to pass down to our family. And one of the main things we want to say, and we'll probably say it again, is if you don't have 5 generations, it's okay. You start where you are. Every generation is the game changer for the next generation, and that's what you can be. So we're going to start with Mom. Let Mom share first.
Well, thanks a lot.
There you go. Jump in. There's something about being the oldest. You just get to be first.
Well, of course, the legacy of spirituality and faith did not begin with us. I was fortunate to have a firm faith family for generations back. Some of my ancestors were circuit riders in Louisiana who rode horseback through the state spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that was a firm beginning for me. And I had a grandmother who spoke in scriptures. Everything that you did or you said, she had a scripture. And while I can't remember verse and chapter for all of those things, they were still stuck in my head and able to pass on to my children. I think the most important thing that was passed to me, and I stress this so much, is the love of family. And in order to have a big family like we have, you have to have a lot of lack of ego, lack of self, and a lot of forgiveness. All of these things are scriptural, and hopefully they are passed thoroughly down through all the generations. Our family, so far, through 5 generations, we're seeing it, and I could not be more pleased with that.
Mom, can you think of one of the scriptures that Grandma would say? I mean, I remember.
Oh, she would say that you only have today, you don't have tomorrow. You don't worry about today, tomorrow takes care of itself. And there's scriptures about, oh gosh, I'm not good at spur of the moment, but there were things, and she not only had scriptures, she had sayings, one of which was pretty is as pretty does.
I remember
and that was
one.
repeated several times.
And repeated to
Yes.
me as well.
Yeah.
Right,
Did I
and
ever
you
say that
are,
to
you
Yeah.
are, birds are known by the feathers they share.
Yeah.
So it's just so many things that she passed on to me through, and then on through my mom. I say my grandmother because my grandmother and grandfather lived with us in our home all the time that I was growing up, which just expanded this generational living and acceptance of one another.
Yeah, so this generational living is not new with our set.
No.
Mama lived that as well with her grandparents, her parents and grandparents, which is awesome. Well, the thing that I want to talk about today was something that my mom and dad did so well and passed that down to us, was the gift of hospitality. My mom, we had 6 kids in our family, 3 boys and 3 girls. At least one of my grandparents lived with us at all times. And our door was still like a revolving door of company and friends and family who needed to stay there, and we would just move over a little bit. There was never any, my mom and dad would give up their bed and sleep on the couch when people would come over. Just this gift of hospitality. And of course, that is so biblical. That is just what the Bible talks about, is for all of us to be able to open our doors and welcome people in. And so we have learned that lesson well, and we model that for our children. And our door has always been a revolving door of friends and family as well. And
I don't
so
think we ever had an empty bed. Someone someone always filled it. If one person went out, someone
Still
did.
do.
Yes.
Still,
Uh-huh.
yes, exactly. We have, we are at the empty nest that we just keep filling the nest up
Right.
with other people who need our house. But so thankful for that, watching that modeled in my grandparents as well as my parents. And then that's the thing that I really wanted to pass down to my children, along with we said we were going to kind of take off the faith thing off the table, because that's our number one thing. And Mom addressed that so well, that began generations ago, passing down our faith to the next generation. And part of that is being hospitable to people.
Yeah, I think I want to just add to what you said before I tell mine, because I was thinking about this thing that I used to say to the kids a lot, and I learned that from y'all. It's that people are more important than things.
Yes.
And that, I think that shows with that gift of hospitality. It's like we're not trying to, like, our carpet's not precious, our floors aren't precious, our cars, our, whatever we have, it's for the service of others. It's not for keeping it perfectly clean or keeping it like this or making sure nothing happens. It's to be used for others, and because people are more important than things. So that's what I think, one of the things that passed down from you. And as I was thinking about this last night, I thought of so many things. And now another aside before I go on. One thing that I was thinking about as Mom was saying that and Mom was saying that, like, if you don't have that, you can start that now. But not only can you start that now, I think because we had a television show that showed our family, a lot of people, ask me, like, how do you get that if you don't have that? And, I really think that is what the church is for. So I just want to encourage you, like, if you don't have that, look for godly mentors, look for spiritual women and faith that you can look to that are ahead of you a little bit that can help you in that. And so if you don't have it, you're the one to start that in your family, but also you can look for it and find that in your church or in, in other spiritual women, and online you can find it, because there's a lot of great resources out there, but also you can find it, personally in the church with your church family.
Absolutely.
So that's what the church is for. My thing, so as I was thinking last night, like I said, there's like a lot that you guys have passed down to me. So I was like, okay, what should it be? But I think the thing that just kept coming to mind was this, like, confidence. And I feel like I came from confident, strong women. And I know that's not because you were just like innately confident or you were just innately fearless or anything like that, but that comes from a confidence in God and knowing that your roots are deep and that God has you and that He's going to protect you and that He is with you and He's for us. And so there's this like confidence that I felt growing up and that I hope I pass on to the kids, and just like you know, like we're going to be all right. God's got us. We're taken care of. We're in His hands. Whatever happens, we're going to be okay because we are His and we are in His hands. And I was thinking about 2 Peter 1:3, where it says like His divine power has given us everything we need for life and godliness. And in this time where there's so much uncertainty, there's a lot of fear, there's all these things saying how there's so much anxiety in the world happening right now. There's so much things that are scary, honestly, because we don't know what tomorrow might look like. Just that, having that peace that like His divine power has given us everything we need for life and godliness. And then the other scripture says, God didn't give us a spirit, and I quote this a lot, and I know Bella has taken this scripture on as one of her favorite scriptures before in her lifetime, but His divine power has given us, and the other scripture is 1 Timothy 1:7, and it talks about how God's spirit is not a spirit of fear, but it's one of power, love, and a sound mind. And I think that you guys have passed that on to us. And so anyway, I was studying that scripture last night and just thinking about that. And we've had some scary things happen in 2020. Yeah. And so that has just, those things and that confidence that you have passed down on me has made me feel fearless, you know, because I saw that in you. I didn't see moms who like how we're down in weakness and in fear whenever scary things happen. So
that's such a neat one, Corey. I wouldn't have even thought about that, and I love that you said that, because I think that is something definitely that this lady has passed down to us. You know, I can remember a time, this is a side, of course we didn't practice this, so we're just saying, my mom and dad were mugged in Houston.
Yes, we were.
On the campus of the
University
of Houston. And how they handled that was such grace, and it was a terrible thing. My daddy was hit in the head with a gun and money taken. Later on, the man went on to kill somebody that night. So it's not like our family hasn't lived through bad things. We have lived through bad things, but my mom and dad, as well as Johnny's mom and dad, and as well as Phil and Kay, all of this, the generations before us have modeled how to walk through those things with confidence, not in ourselves, but like Corey said, but confidence in God, that we're going to get through this thing, whatever this thing is. And certainly 2020 has been a thing that all of us are having to walk through. And you know, when you walk through something that's a bad thing, my husband having colon cancer, different things that we've done, that helps you walk through the next thing, because you know you've done it and God's been there for you all the way through. And so as we are generations deep, you can't help but see a lot of things happen, because that's life. And so Bella has been a part of things, seeing things that have happened to this generation and this generation and this generation, including losing her great-grandparents, you know. So those things are all the things that will make her stronger as a woman, that we hope that we're able to pour into her. And so, I don't know, Corey, that's an awesome thing to say. I love that, the confidence. That's
I don't know if you remember this or not, Chris, but we used to say in our family, when someone would overreact to something that was could have been scary, when in danger, fear, and doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. You know? So then we'd all laugh about it and realize that we're putting it in its right place.
I had forgotten that. I love that. I mean, so good.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we're to Bella.
Yes, and I just thought about something else too. So I have something I'm going to say, but I have something else first.
Go for it.
First, I just thought about, I think something that each of y'all have done that I didn't even think about until just now was each of y'all, like, never wanted to hold us back from our dreams. Like, each of y'all were like, oh, go do your thing and we'll be here back. when you want to come back home. And it was never like a whole like, oh no, I don't want you to leave the nest because we love you. I don't want you to leave the nest. It was go, do your thing, have fun, and like follow God and pursue your dreams, and then we'll be here too when you come back. So that's something I just thought about each of y'all have done.
Inside, we were all like, oh, maybe she won't go. But no,
you told me when I was going to go to
right.
school in Virginia, you were like, yeah, go, that would be so much fun. And then when I decided to stay home, you were like, oh my gosh, thank God I did not. I really am glad
But
you
that
did
is another thing handed down all the way from here.
But
Moms
y'all
always
each have
think
done that because I know y'all have lived away. You and your
Yeah.
siblings, and you and Ashley and Ryan have lived away too. And then all of us, we've all kind of gone around. And we all come back here. We all live in the same neighborhood now, so it's fun. But we all definitely do feel I'm sure we all feel like the freedom to go.
Yeah, that's
if
good.
we need to.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
think
something I
that's
just thought
such a
about.
good one because I think about like I always say a lot of parents are like dream big but not too big because like we want you to stay here and we don't want you to like like don't make your dreams too big because then that might involve you leaving me. And I think that's that's not really a healthy thing to give our kids. I think they need that security to know that like yes, dream big, and if whatever God is calling you to, you go do. And we're here cheering you on, and your security is here, and you're safe and sound. But like we don't want you to feel at all that you can't dream big. And I think that is something that parents do sometimes. So thank you for saying
Yeah,
that.
so that's what I just thought about. But the real one that I've been thinking about was the traditions I think we all have in the family that like bring us back together each year, no matter what happens, where everyone lives. Like each year we all know like at Christmas we'll all meet the night before Christmas at Two Mama's house for talent show, and then the day before at Joe Neal's house for cookie decorating, and the day of at Mama Joe's house for brunch. And we have all these things that we all look forward to each year and bring us back together. And like, so I think that's something I think I want to pass down to, like always that like traditions and things to look forward to come together as a family.
love that.
It's really good.
That's so good because I think what people need to realize with traditions, while they're fun, it's super fun, it is also that kind of a security thing. Like no matter what else is happening, we know Christmas Eve we're going to be together having a fun talent show. So it's kind of one of those things that gives our kids that sense of security. And again, another one of those things that will change as your family evolves. Our traditions have changed. The ones that Bella knows now are not necessarily all the ones that Corey grew up or the ones that I grew up with. It's just finding those that work for your family at the time your family is. And we always say in our family, we never want a tradition to become a binding thing.
Right.
Yes.
So that it makes everybody feel like, oh no, we've got to do. We want everybody to be excited about it. And so we're constantly alert to the changing in our family and our younger ones getting married and what that's going to look like and what our new tradition might be or might not be. And we just know that we're going to continue to have them so that we can pass that on to our kids and they can have that to look forward to. Another one we have is we all go to the beach together in the summer. And that is such a fun tradition for both sides of our family, the Robertson side as well as our side. And then it's kind of grown and grown and grown till it's
about 60 of us.
yeah, about 60 or 70 of us down there. But those kinds of things are the two things that our kids look forward to all year long. No matter what else is going on in their life, they know that they've got that's coming up and it's going to be a super fun time. So, all right, anybody else have any comments?
I think that's
Mama,
good.
last
Mama.
parting thoughts?
You're the
Please don't
matriarch. You
leave
need
that
the
for
last
me.
words.
Please don't leave that for me. I love hearing what you all remember and what's important to you. That warms my heart. Of course it does. It's a joy. It's a joy to see your children follow the paths that you've set for them, but making it in their own way. I can remember when Corey and Willie went to Europe when they were in college for a semester, and I was so excited for them to be able to go and see what happened in other parts of the world and not just in West Monroe, Louisiana.
And this
It was a
before,
joy.
before email and
yes.
cell phones, so we had no idea what was going on with them.
Right, no matter how close we are, and some of us live very close together, yards apart here. There are times when we don't see each other for several weeks at a time, but it's so joyful when we do. We just give everyone the license to do their own thing and take joy in what they do.
I think that's something important too that I've always wanted to pass on to our kids is just to kind of let our kids know that the world is bigger than us, you
Yes.
know, and that I think that comes with like sometimes kids can start to think that the world revolves around them, you know, and y'all never really let that happen for us, and we didn't really let that happen to our kids. We wanted our kids to know that, you know, the world is much bigger, and when we start looking outward and thinking about
Yes.
other people's, how to serve and how to help other people and how to be a light in the world. One thing Willie prays every time he prays with the kids is like, help us to be bright lights. You know, when we start
Exactly.
looking outward and don't just stay inward and be like, okay, what are all of our little problems,
Yeah.
you know? And that's something that y'all pass down to us as well.
Which I love
so
that
thank you
too.
for that.
That's
Yeah.
another neat thing is just those words spoken over our children. I love that, just hearing that about what Willie says. And it can be just something, Bella reminded me yesterday
Yeah. I
of
was just
something I
thinking
used
that.
to say.
Teen Mama used to walk us out the door for school in the morning, and she would say, "Be a good light and be a good example. Be the salt and light." And then she'd be like, "Okay, see y'all later." And yesterday we were talking about that too. I was like, "Yeah, I used to always tell y'all, be a good light or
Be a
be
good
a
leader."
light and be a good leader and example." And Teen Mama was, and I was like, "And you used to say be the salt and light." And she was like, "Oh yeah, I did say that. Be the salt."
So I
and
love it when they remember things you don't even remember. That's so awesome.
I can remember I told you and your siblings when you would leave, don't follow the trend. You be the trendsetter.
Yeah, that's a
There
good
you go.
one.
Yes.
That's a good
Yep.
one. But your kids will not remember everything you say. There was a song that I was singing one day, and I was like, they were all like, "What are you singing?" I was like, "You don't remember that song? I sang it to you every day. Do you remember when I took you to the library and I read you books and I did all those things?" And they're like, "No, we don't remember." I'm like, "What?" So they're not going to remember everything you do and all the little details of
No.
what you do, but they're going to remember how they feel in your home and how you make them feel. And so I think most importantly is make your children feel loved and know that you are the perfect parent for them. God gave you them for a reason. They gave
right.
you your children specifically. He chose you to be their mother or father. He knit them together in their womb. There's no one else like them. There's no one else like you. And you were specifically chosen for this task. So that means you're up for it and you can do it. And even if it's hard and even if you don't have the legacy, the things passed down to you, you can be the one that changes that.
That's right. Even if it's perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect, you've got it. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.